Hey guys, it's your girl Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. Love your gel tips but hate soaking them in acetone every time you want to remove them? Well, let me tell you, so do I. So I have a method here for how to remove your jelly tips and prep your nails for your next set without using any acetone, any soaking, any gel remover product, none of that nonsense. So if you want to see my method for how I do that and avoid soaking in acetone, then stick around, we're getting into it. Okay, my friends, so just a little disclaimer for those that may be new here. I am not a nail professional, I am a DIYer. So what I am sharing with you are my experiences from using gel tips on my own hands, as well as some of the experiences of some of my pals in the nail community. And if you are new here, hey, I'm Carrie. I am a DIY nail lover. I love all things dip and gel. I don't use nail polish on this channel. I don't have the patience for waiting for things to dry. But otherwise, you will see all kinds of fun nail techniques and dip with me's and unboxings, all kinds of fun stuff on this channel. So if you are new here, I would love it if you would subscribe and stick around. But onto the reason we're all here, I'm going to give you a full explanation. I'm going to give you some tips, a demo of how I remove my current gel tips and prep my nails for my next set. So let's go ahead and get into that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the tools you're going to need if you want to try this process. So the first thing I have here are some fake tip cutters. So I will have these linked for you down below. They're pretty inexpensive. I do think that these are worth having. Do you absolutely need them for this process? No, but it will definitely make it so much easier and so much faster. So that is the first thing you're going to want. And then you're also going to need a good hand file. I have this 100-180 from Macart. These are kind of my go-to nail files. I will have those linked for you also. And then I also have my Vivid Glam Co. e-file. So you're going to want an e-file for this process. It's just going to take way too long if you don't have one. This one is from Vivid Glam Co., which again I will have linked, but I can also link a couple of less expensive options if you're just getting into e-files and you're not sure how much you're going to want to use them yet, so that way you can kind of have this at least for this process. And then I have it fitted here with my mandrel bit with a medium sanding band. You can use a medium, you could use a coarse, you could use a fine. Probably medium is the best. It's not quite too harsh since we're going to be getting down pretty close to the natural nail, but it's not too soft either that it's going to take you forever to file everything off. So I feel like the medium is a good compromise for this purpose. All right, so before we get into the details of this process, if you are admiring my nail mat, that is from So Neat by Jamie. The shop has been open for a little bit. We've had a couple of sales already, and thank you so much to those of you who have already made a purchase. You know who you are, and I appreciate you so much. But this nail mat is one of the options that are available in the shop, and we recently added a custom option if you are looking to purchase specific colors for your nail mat. But I really do love this, and I don't know if this video will already be up or if it's coming next, but I do have a video coming for you with details on all items that are available in the shop. But this one in particular has leopard on one side and zebra on the other, which is always fun and just makes a really cool background for your nail videos or even just to do your nails at all, because it's nice to have a protective surface on whatever surface that you are working on. These mats are what I use in all my YouTube videos, all my Instagram reels, or even if I'm just doing my nails. So if you are interested in this mat or any of the other options, I will have that shop linked for you down below. But let's go ahead and get into the process. All right, so what I have in my hands right now are the Painted Desert Medium Natural Coffin Tips, which I have a first impressions video on those if you haven't seen them yet, but I do have some updates for you guys on those. I've definitely gone back and forth between these already. I've used these, and then I went, at the end of this video, you'll see the iGel Medium Square, and then I went back to the Painted Desert Medium Coffin. It's a long story. I'll get into some details for that soon. But you can see I've got some residue left on here from some peel base that I did not apply very well because I rushed it, and that's what happens when you rush it. But since we're going to be removing these anyway, I'm not too worried about that leftover dip powder that's on here. But regardless of what tips I'm wearing, what I'm changing into, the process is all the same. So I'm going to be showing you how I removed these so that I could apply the iGel Medium Square. All right, so the first thing I'm going to be doing here is cutting down these gel tips. I've got a lot of length on here that I don't need, and I don't really want to bother with filing them off if I can just clip them off. So you can use these cutters before you apply your nails or after you apply them. Of course, after you apply them, you just want to be a little careful not to injure yourself. But these aren't like super like ninja blade sharp. They're just sharp enough, so at least there's that. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to put these on the plastic tip that's on my nail and cut it down as far as I feel comfortable with. Now you're going to notice that this time I go a little bit further than usual because you may see here I have a bit of natural nail growth. my nails actually grow pretty darn fast. So I know I'm going to be doing some kind of more sheer designs. So I want to get rid of that like free edge part that's on there. So I'm cutting down a little bit further than I would normally would. So don't feel like you need to go down as far as I'm going down. Even just taking off some of that length will go a very long way in saving some time for you. But yeah, it's really just as simple as that. Just fit it onto your nail and go down as far as you're willing to go. You can see I cut a bit of my natural nail off there, but like I said, I was just going to be cutting those down anyway, so it's not a big deal. But just go down as far as you're willing to go. If you're not worried about the free edge, then just go down to the edge where your free edge meets the tip, or like I said, you can go down just a little bit further. Just be careful not to get so close that you pinch yourself or scrape yourself or injure yourself in any way. Saying that as somebody who is very klutzy and trying to help you avoid injury as well. Alright, so now that we removed all that excess length with the gel tips, we're going to go ahead and get the other hand up to speed, and then we'll move on to removing the bulk off the rest of the nail. Alright, remove that excess length off both hands, and now we're ready to get rid of some of that bulk so that we can make room for our new tips. Alright, so let's talk about what's left on my fingers at this point. So I have the gel tip, the attachment gel I used to put them on, and then underneath that I have a thin layer of builder gel, and that is what is going to help us remove this without filing down to our natural nail. So I'm going to be working over my Melody Susie Does fan today so that I can show you how to do this on video. But if you want to know the honest truth, I normally do this over my kitchen sink. And I know you guys are going to think I'm nuts for saying that, but it's just easier to do that for me because I have a pretty large kitchen sink, so I can just do it all there and then rinse the excess down the sink and move on with my day. But this does work really well if you do want to sit at the table to do this process, but I'm just letting you know that that's what I do, weird or not. So basically the plan here is we are going to remove all of this down to the base layer of builder gel that I have protecting my nails. And that's what's going to allow us to file down without damaging our natural nail. Because we don't want to do that. That's the whole point of avoiding the acetone, is we're not trying to damage our nail or the skin around it. So that's the plan. If you're newer to e-files and you need a little bit more help with how to prep your bits and how to actually do this part, then I will have that video linked for you in the cards. I have an e-file 101 video with my favorite bits, but that's the reason why I love the e-file, is because this gives me the opportunity to save some time with the soaking and save some damage to drying out my skin with the soaking in the acetone. Alright, so I'm using my Vivid Glam Coat e-file, which I highly recommend if you're looking for a good quality e-file. And then I've also got my mandrel bit here with the medium sanding band on here, which I have already prepped. Which, don't skip that step. That's in that e-file 101 video, because before I started doing this, I definitely would hurt my skin around my nails quite a bit. Don't do that. So I like to set my e-file speed anywhere between 8 and 12,000 RPMs. The speed you like is completely up to you. You can go faster, you can go a little bit slower than that, though not too much slower. But that's just the speed that I'm comfortable with, because I will tell you this, gel, especially like gel tips and the gel underneath, will actually file very, very easily, even more easily than a dip powder, I would say. It just kind of comes right off, so I really don't feel the need to go super fast, especially because I'm going to be getting down close to my natural nail. And again, I'm really trying to avoid damage here. So basically what I'm going to do here is just keep filing until I start to see myself get down to that bottom layer of builder gel. And I know that may be difficult to determine because you may have a couple layers on there and it may be hard to distinguish between them. So all I'll tell you here is go down as far as you feel comfortable doing. If you feel like you're getting too close and you're getting nervous, just stop. Because if you think about it this way, you're going to be putting new tips on, and you are going to need some kind of like fill between your base nail and the apex anyway. So if you have a little bit of excess left over, it's not really going to hurt anything, because it's just going to fill in that space between your nail and the apex anyway. People tend to have a pretty healthy fear of e-files because they're afraid of damaging their natural nail with them, and I totally get that. And I'm not going to tell you that I haven't, on occasion, a very rare occasion, but on occasion, have I hit my natural nail with the e-file? Yes, I have. But honestly, it's not something that I've done anytime recently because I've really gotten comfortable with my e-file. But if you are afraid of that, believe me, I totally get it. So again, let me just say, go down as far as you feel comfortable going, and you'll know that if you've done something wrong, it's gonna hurt. And if it hurts, you went too far. So just take your time, go a little bit slower if you need to, or if you're just starting out, maybe use the fine sanding band. That way it will really be slow to come off, and you can be slow and careful. This may be perhaps an unpopular opinion, but I believe that most people damage their nails because they got in a hurry. So whether you're using acetone or an e-file, when you get in a hurry, you start to pull things, scrape things, go too far down because you just want to get it all off. So again, I do believe that this method is faster than soaking in acetone because gel soaking in acetone to me takes forever, even if you file it down. So I do find this to be a lot faster, but you notice I'm not rushing this process because I don't want to damage my natural nails because that really defeats the purpose. And again, you can see I'm moving my hands around the whole time I'm working. I'm trying to find positions that are comfortable to me because I want to make sure that I get all the angles right, get everything nice and smooth, and get this down as far as I'm comfortable going. Alright, so this is what I am left with after I have filed it down as far as I'm comfortable with. You can kind of see my natural nail underneath, but you can also see I have a pretty thin layer of like a pinkish colored or like a nude pink colored builder gel there on the bottom. So I haven't filed down to the actual nail, I've just gotten down to that layer, and you can see there's a little bit of those edges there on the gel tips now that are just going to pull right off because of the filing down so thin, they just kind of wanted to come right off. But you can see here I've gotten down pretty thin, but not so thin that I put my natural nail in danger. But again, if you're new to this, just go down as far as you feel comfortable with and just try to shape it up really well, especially on the sidewalls and the free edge, so you have a pretty easy time to get it prepped for your next set of gel tips. Alright, so I've got all my nails filed down on this hand, so I wanted to kind of wipe this down with alcohol so you can definitely see my natural nail underneath this, but there is still a very thin layer of that builder gel left on there, so that is what is protecting my natural nail. Now this next part doesn't take very long, but you can see I'm kind of just examining here for a little bit of lifting, which honestly none of my tips lifted, but oftentimes when you file down this thin, some of it will start to kind of want to come off just because of the nature of it being so thin. So what I will usually do if that happens is I will take just some very good clippers here, and all I'm doing is just kind of testing the edges and clipping off anything that is so thin that it's lifted. Now notice I'm not pulling, I'm just checking the edge. If it doesn't immediately start to pull up, then I'm not going to clip it. I'm just going to clip off the parts that have obviously come off. Never pull, because again, that is going to cause damage to your natural nails, and once again, that's the whole point of doing this. So I'm just repeating the same thing on the other hand. I filed it down and now I'm just testing the edges here for any lifting. Again, I'm not pulling, I'm just checking to see anywhere that's obviously lifted, and I will clip it off, because if it's not lifting, there's no need to remove it from your nail. Now, if you're concerned about lifting or you're having significant lifting, if you want to soak at this point, you can. But again, I probably do that once or twice a year is all. Just don't want to soak. It's dry on my skin. It's dry on my nails. It takes too long. I don't have the patience for it. So if it's not lifting, there's really no need to try to get it to come off. And again, I want to stress, I actually rarely get lifting. This is coming off right now because I did file it down so thin that it just disturbed some of that product there, made it want to come off. But honestly, I can't remember the last time I've had a nail that's lifted, whether it was builder gel or whether it was dip powder or my gel tips. It just doesn't happen very often to me. So if you're struggling with lifting, I am going to have a video coming for you as soon as I can to help with some troubleshooting on lifting, but it's just something that just rarely happens to me anymore. All right, so we cut down the excess, we filed down the bulk, and then we clipped off any lifting. And here I'm just kind of cleaning up the shape a little bit before I go into my prep process for my next set. All right, so at this point, the removal work is done. Now we're prepping for our next set. So what I'm doing here is just pushing back my cuticles, and then I'm going around the cuticle and sidewall areas to make sure that I don't have any product that's left on there that needs to come off. And then I'm going to do a little bit more of a dry prep with the cuticle area. Okay, so one thing I'm actually a firm believer in not using is cuticle remover, which you'll have to wait for that lifting video to explain why I don't like cuticle remover. I have not used cuticle remover in, I can't remember the last time. It's been maybe half a year at least. What I like to do is dry prep, so I will take my cuticle bit with my e-file at a very low speed, think like 3,000 to 5,000 RPMs is all, and I will go up around the cuticle and sidewall area, and what I'm looking to do is clean off any invisible cuticle as well as any little bits of leftover gel that may be kind of clogging those areas up that I need to get smooth so that I can prep for my new set. I'm not telling you not to use your cuticle remover if you like it and it doesn't cause you any lifting problems. If that's the case, then go ahead. I would, however, suggest doing that part the night before and then applying your next set the next day, just for to help safeguard avoiding lifting. But again, that's just me. I have found that dry prep works really, really well for me, and you're talking to somebody who has a lot of invisible cuticle. Now this may be excessive, but now I am going around that same area with my glass pusher because like I just said, I am somebody who has a lot of invisible cuticle, and that more than anything can definitely lead to lifting, at least for me. So I did it with the cuticle bit. Now I'm going back around with the glass file to make sure that there's no leftover bits of any gel, no invisible cuticle that I missed, just to make sure I have an extra smooth surface and nothing that may lead to lifting. This right here is probably the biggest game changer I have found when it comes to lifting. Honestly, like the few lifting issues I had were almost solved overnight with just adding this into my routine. So whether you're using gel tips or just gel polish, or you're using dip powder on your natural nails, I feel like everybody needs this because it will definitely find a visible cuticle that you didn't know was there. And because it's made of glass, it's actually very, very gentle on your skin and your natural nail. All right, all done. So we are ready to go in now with our prep liquids for our next set. So I'm just wiping these down with alcohol to remove the excess dust, and I'm going to give you an up close look at what the nails are looking like. So you can see they're pretty thin, but you can definitely tell that I have not filed all the way down to my natural nail. There still is a little bit of a protective layer there. And believe me when I say that I have done this so many times now with the gel tips that I can tell you it has never interfered with application of my new tips. And once again, I believe that's because you're going to have a little bit of an apex built into the tips, and all that layer is going to do is kind of fill that space in there. So you're actually going to need a little bit of less of your adhesive product to get your gel tip to stay on. But since I have thinned out that layer and I also have a little bit of new growth, I'm going to go ahead and apply my builder gel again to fill in that area of growth and smooth everything back over, just to kind of even everything out before I go in with my new layer. And that again will serve me the purpose of when I want to remove my next set, I will have that builder gel layer protecting it. So in the interest of saving time here, I am going to speed through this part, but what I'm doing is the exact same process I have done in my builder gel overlay video, which I know is pretty old, but I haven't gone back to overlays yet. So at this point, I'm still using the same process for the tips, so that video is still valid. So I'm just going to use my protein bond, my gel base, and then apply my builder gel. So if you need some more details and further breakdown, I will have those videos linked for you in the cards on my builder gel overlay and my builder gel fill. It's all the same process. So all the products I used in this will be linked down below, but once again, just a reminder what I've done so far. I did the protein bond, I did my layer of gel base and cured, and now I'm going in with my builder gel, and I'm going to be using West Coast Dips builder gel here in Zeus, and I love this one, and it's a great formula. But beyond that, I feel like most colored builder gels, it takes up several layers to build up that color. And I'm only planning on using one layer here, and I love that this one is a little bit more colorful, so I get that good healthy pink color with just one layer. Now, can you use more than one layer of builder gel here? Sure, if you feel better, you can use 2 layers, but I find 1 layer is just that right amount for me. But if you, like I said, if you want to use 2, you definitely can. I wouldn't do any more than that because I think that's just going to add too much bulk back. But yeah, I really do like this formula. It's very easy to work with, and I find that it gives me just the right amount of color, just to kind of, you know, give that healthy nail, not so pale girl look back to my nails. All right, so once I'm happy with how that's looking, I'm just going to give that a full cure. All right, so in the interest of saving time, I did go ahead and just complete the rest of my nails. I've only showed you the thumb here, but I'm just wiping off the tacky layer of the builder gel. I like to have it nice and smooth in case for whatever reason anything got a little lumpy and I need to buff it out, although honestly it rarely ever does. But I wipe off the tacky layer, I just inspect anything to see if I need to clean up the shape or buff anything, and then I'm ready to go. So I'm hoping what you can see here is that everything looks fresh and new, and we didn't have to do any kind of soaking or reapplication of all the products. Everything looks nice and smooth and ready for our next set. So as somebody who's definitely not in her 20s anymore, it's nice to be able to avoid drying my skin and nails out by soaking in acetone for forever. Because again, if you've been able to do that in 10 minutes or less, I would like to meet you, because no matter how much I file down my gel layers, I find soaking off still takes a really long time and a lot of scraping, which I would definitely rather avoid. Alright, so I went ahead and applied my iGel Beauty medium square tips. I did not put the application portion in this video because I already have a video on that, which I will link for you in the cards if you haven't seen, or if you need more instructions on how to apply your gel tips. But once again, I think you can see here that having that layer of builder gel did not affect the application of my tips at all. Everything looks like it fits well, everything looks nice and smooth, and my nails and my hands look healthy because I avoided soaking in all that dry liquid. So I hope I explained this process well enough, but if I did not explain something very clearly or you have more questions, please make sure to leave them in the comment box down below, because I definitely want to help those of you who are looking to avoid soaking in acetone to get your tips removed and reapplied. Kind of random, but one of the things I wanted to throw in real quickly here is one of our subscribers recently asked how to get rid of the number and or name on the edge of the tips. I actually tried a technique that I have to give credit to Carol Annette too, so I will have her channel linked for you down in the description box if you're interested in seeing that video, but she demonstrated how to cover that up by using a layer of gel top coat on the underneath the nail, and I tried it for this set, and now I'm like, wow, I need to do this every set, because it's not just the fact that it completely covers up the name of the tip or the number, but also because it just makes a really smooth surface, so when you dip, like really heavily pigmented dips aren't going to stick underneath your nails. So really enjoying that. So thanks to Carol Annette for that tip, and to Diane for asking that question, because I finally tried it out. Alright, my friends, so that is going to complete this video. So I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, it would help me out so much if you would give me a thumbs up down below. And while you're here, if you've not subscribed already, I hope you will consider subscribing before you go. And don't forget that notification bell. We got new content coming every Tuesday and Friday at 2 p.m. Central. So as always, guys, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend it with me. I love you to pieces. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.